Four of the best chefs in Britain are on the hunt for their perfect partner. Because for the first time ever, amateur home cooks will be paired with the best in the business for the cooking experience of a lifetime.
I can't hear you. Say it a bit louder.
Yes, yeah!
Each day, a different Michelin-starred chef will choose their perfect partner from four talented home cooks.
You've got to cook these egg yolks. They're not going to cook in thin air. Reduction's no good if you've got no eggs to put it into.
Then, in the Friday final, all four pairs will go head-to-head to cook for culinary royalty Pierre Koffmann.
There's only two types of cooking, bad cooking and good cooking.
For the professional chefs, their reputations are on the line.
Bring in the home cook.
That's dried out. Oh, no.
For the amateur home cooks, they're about to be put to the test by the country's finest.
Something's burning in there. It's like
Ambition.
But who will win? This is Yes Chef.
Hello and welcome to Yes Chef. Let's meet today's four home cooks.
First, it's Kevin Priest, a company director from Timperley.
I'm a traditional cook based on the things that I learnt off my mother. I've got a different way of cooking chips, so we'll see what they come out like.
Next is George Evans, a digital marketing manager from Harrogate.
I like to cook things that I really want to eat. If I read about something, I become obsessed about wanting to do it and I'll just become fixated on wanting to cook that one thing.
Nick Maguire is a video marketeer from Manchester.
I'd say I was a creative cook that likes to use alcohol. It's fine. My style was sort of flamboyant, ridiculous, and the results are always pretty good.
And finally, Diane Norburn is a primary school teacher from Wigan.
In the kitchen, I'm very much a control freak. It's my space and I don't like anybody else coming in, interfering, and it's got to be clean.
Welcome, everybody. So we have our four home cooks. All we need now is our chef. It's Stephen Terry.
Stephen Terry is the chef and owner of the Hardwick in Abergavenny and earned his first Michelin star aged just 25.
My cooking style is modern British with French foundations and seasonal, but, you know, most importantly, tasty. It's quite nice apart from it's cold.
Trained under Marco Pierre White, Michel Roux Jr. and Alain Passard, Stephen's built up an impressive CV and knows exactly what it takes to stay ahead of the game.
The qualities I'm going to be looking for in a home cook are someone who can keep a cool head, you know, because it's all about pressure. Check on 2 no starters, on salmon 1 sausages. This is a competition, so the only reason to enter a competition is to win it.
Welcome, Stephen. We're very excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So your goal today is to find your perfect partner out of our four home cooks to join you in the Friday final. What will you be looking for?
I think what's paramount for me is instinctive, confident cooking. You know, I want people that can remain in control, cook innovative food, someone that, you know, I feel that, you know, I can trust.
OK, well, let's get on with it. This is round one, dish of the day. Now, cooks, you are going to be making the one dish that you believe will set you apart from the rest. You have just 45 minutes and you need to make it count because after this round, one of you, sadly, will be going home.
So you ready to cook?
Yes, chef!
Let's go.
So our cooks are off, and with someone destined to leave at the end of this round, impressing Stephen is crucial because no one wants to go home.
It's quite hard, this butter. Need my muscles.
There's only 45 minutes on the clock and the pressure is on for Kevin.
Is all I'm thinking about is what I forgot.
Hiya, Kevin.
Hiya, Kevin. So what are you cooking for us?
Pork and sour cream.
Yep. Do you cook it in the sour cream?
No, I cook it with the chicken stock and onions and mushroom, and then at the end of it, the sour cream goes in with a bit of paprika, and then we have rice, peas and chips.
Rice, peas and chips,
Yeah.
half and half?
No, everything, no.
Things to look out for would be making sure the pork stays nice and tender.
Yes.
One bit of advice I would give you is if you actually need to taste some of it while you're cooking it, because if you leave it in for the sake of it, it will overcook.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that's going to obviously affect the result, isn't it?
OK, yeah.
Hi, Diane.
Hiya.
How you doing?
Right. We're doing chicken in it's like a creamy, spicy sauce. It's quite unusual because it's got mushroom ketchup in. Which
I've heard of mushroom ketchup, I've
but
never made it.
I've never heard of
I've
mushroom
not seen it in
ketchup.
many recipes, so that's in there. So that's going to go in the oven shortly. And then I'm doing it with stuffed mushroom on a bed of crushed potato. And then I'm just going to roast these lightly in some basmati vinegar. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to plate it because these have to fit on me bed of potatoes. That's the aim. So we'll see.
Don't compromise the flavour because you've got to get the shape right because the shape doesn't taste. It's the product that tastes, and that's what it's all about.
All right, so we'll let you get on.
Yeah, I'll pop these in the oven.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hiya, Nick.
Hey,
How are we getting on?
slightly disastrously.
Oh no, why?
Why?
What's happened?
Well, normally my seafood comes in a bag from a supermarket and in it goes.
Okay.
So this is slightly out of my comfort zone.
Okay. So what are you making?
A seafood tagliatelle.
Okay.
Which sounded easy when I started, but now I'm in a full kitchen. It's slightly different. For instance, I thought squid came in little circles, and I have this.
Oh, so you've never...
No, filleted a...
Oh, okay.
Is it even called filleted good?
Not
Well,
really,
just
no.
sliced.
No. How are you planning on cooking the mussels and the clams?
Once I prep them, I'm going to get the sauce to the right temperature where I want it to be, and I'm going to put them actually into it.
Yeah.
I want them to open up and get all the flavours out into the sauce.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've got some saffron infusing in a bit of butter there.
So saffron's going into the sauce?
Yes.
Not sure about the saffron in butter. I've never seen that before, to be honest with you. But,
I've never done it before.
Oh, so you just decided to do it
This could be
today.
interesting. I don't know if infuse it in milk or perhaps or some cream.
Well,
but
the infusion is normally into the sauce that it's going to be in. So you just drop a bit into whatever
which
it
is
is.
what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
So I'll take a little bit of saffron right now and put it in there.
There you go. He's cheating here.
I think that's showing initiative.
Good. Well, good luck. We'll let you get on.
I
And
need
good
a
luck
lot
with
of
that.
luck. Yeah.
Hi, George.
Hiya.
How you doing, George?
I'm good, thanks.
What are you cooking for us?
Duck tortellini in hoisin broth with some pickled radishes and some token veg.
Sounds nice.
Tortellini, that's ambitious.
Yes.
So you like making fresh pasta? You
Yeah.
Make, yeah?
Yeah.
What is it, duck breast, duck
Leg.
leg?
Duck leg.
So that's going to take a little while to cook. So you're up against it, really, in terms of timing. You know,
Yeah,
cooking the duck
okay.
leg, shredding it.
Yeah.
Why did you decide on the leg?
I'm used to using duck leg, so
Okay.
I've done it within the time before.
So you're just hoping?
I'm just hoping.
Yeah. Well, it will.
I'm
Be
hoping.
confident. Well, good luck. We'll let you get on. And
Cheers.
fingers crossed.
Thank you.
So with the clock ticking down, Nick attempts to gut his squid.
Sorry, mate. It's a bit inky.
He's having a bad time over there.
Think that is done. Pretty good, huh? Come on.
Out of the four at the minute, whose menu excites you the most?
Next.
Even though he doesn't really know what he's doing. That's
Well,
interesting.
because he's quite flamboyant, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just need to make sure that champagne's okay. That's fine.
He's a little bit nervous because he hasn't done it before, but I think he's quite cool with it. You know, he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just going to do it. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. What about Kevin?
Pork in sour cream. It sounds nice, but it's a very sort of safe dish, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not sure he's quite got the confidence to do this, and I just think that maybe, you know, he's a little bit nervous.
Those looking a bit dry.
So what about Diane? I know she cut her chicken down in order for it to fit into her ring for a presentation.
It's that whole sort of style over substance, isn't it? When I think, you know, it's the wrong sort of mentality, isn't it? You know, sort of approach when you think the shapes are more important than the taste.
Yeah.
And George, I mean, she will probably be showing some skill if she pulls off the raviolis.
Yeah.
But that's going to be tricky because she's up against it, getting that duck cooked, getting it into a mix and making a ravioli out of it.
Yeah.
She's going to be under some serious pressure.
Okay.
If she pulls it off, I'll be quite impressed.
Stephen is looking for someone who can stay calm under pressure whilst cooking original food. So how the cooks behave in these last few minutes could make all the difference.
My clams aren't opening. Open sesame. Oh, man, right.
Right, guys, you have just 2 minutes left. "30 seconds to go, guys."
I actually don't know what's happening anymore, to be honest. Just going with instinct.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step away from your plates. Stop cooking.
First to be judged is Kevin with his dish of the day. Pork in sour cream with mushrooms, onions and paprika, served with rice, peas and homemade oven chips.
There we go.
Thank you. How did you find that?
A bit easier than I thought. That's what makes me think I might have got something wrong.
Ah. Well, let's tuck in.
It's a proper plate of food, isn't it?
It's, yes.
Yeah, the pork's not bad. Could be a little bit less cooked for me.
Yes.
It's not tough.
No.
Could to be a little bit softer, but it's not tough. Chips are is an interesting sort of texture on the outside.
That's an egg white that gives them the colour.
I've never seen that before. So you actually dip them in egg white and then put them
Yes,
on
I get a bowl and just get the egg whites.
Oh, I saw you doing that. I thought you were just putting. I thought that was butter or.
It's because they'll cook quicker then, I think, as much as anything else, and gives them a bit of a crunch to them, hopefully.
It's quite, carbohydrate,
Yes.
heavy, what with chips and rice. But overall, good dish.
Thank you very much. Mine's a reasonably simple dish, I would say, in a sense. It's tasty and it's good, but compared to the others, it's not probably as elaborate. So we'll see.
With Kevin, without sounding disrespectful, he's sort of like a one-trick pony. Bit of pressure, bit of sort of thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's up for that challenge.
Okay.
Next to be judged is George with her dish of the day. Duck tortellini in a hoisin broth with pickled radishes and cucumber.
Hello, George.
Hi.
Hey, George. All right?
Yeah, fine.
Right, tortellini. It tastes of what it's supposed to, It's like exactly what you say. It's like I wouldn't be disappointed if someone said, what it was and you tasted it.
Yeah.
I like a bit of heat there. I think you showed very good skill
Right.
in making the tortellinis. I was very impressed. It just lacks a little bit of texture.
Yeah, I was trying to get that with the radishes.
Yeah,
and to get
there is
a bit more.
there's a bit of crunch there. Overall, it's a good dish. It's tasty. I think you've displayed a really good level of skill, and I think you held it together as well when you're under a lot of pressure. So fair play to you.
I was pleased with it, so they didn't spit it out, which is always a good sign. So yeah, fingers crossed.
In terms of the dish, it lacked dimensions. It was a bit sort of flat, but the skill level and what's more important, she displayed a really good sort of temperament under pressure. I can see, just her going down in flames there.
Yeah.
And she held it together and she did it really well. And I like that about her.
Time for Nick with his dish of the day. Seafood and saffron pasta with champagne sauce accompanied with a champagne shot.
Hiya, Nick.
Hey!
All right?
Did you enjoy that experience?
I was literally firefighting from the moment I put the first ingredients in.
Before we tuck in, I think on appearance, it would have been nice to have peeled the prawns. It's about thinking how someone else is going to be able to eat the dish. There we are. Happy days.
There you go.
No, it's good. No, all good. It's a simple dish. Simple things have to be done really well. And the reason that is because there's nowhere to hide.
Sure.
The pasta's cooked perfectly.
Okay.
There's absolutely can't fault that. But it just needs more of that sauce and flavour around it, really.
I hear you. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think and
But it's a
that
good effort.
solves that problem about temperature as well. There you go.
Go
On a little slip.
No, you go.
Well, he was very kind, bearing in mind on how many mistakes I'd made. Got really good positive feedback, but I think my only hope is the champagne.
It seemed a lot more tagliatelle and not a lot of seafood.
Yeah.
The shellfish was cooked tidy, but it just needed to be out the shell, in my opinion, just to make it easy to eat.
Yeah.
But there was really very little sauce.
And finally, it's Diane with her dish of the day of spicy, creamy chicken served on a bed of crushed potatoes, accompanied with stuffed garlic mushrooms, asparagus and vine tomatoes.
Hello, Diane.
Hiya.
So, talk about taste.
Let's tuck in.
There we are. Make sure it hasn't got a pulse. There we are. Personally, I think the protein, i.e. the chicken, should fill a larger percentage than the carbohydrate.
Right.
So when your protein is sat on something that sort of, in volume, is bigger,
Yeah.
it's sort of like slightly out of sync, really. Asparagus, it's always a bit tougher at the end.
Yeah.
So just to cut it back and then peel the end, it's a nice bit of presentation.
Okay.
No, it's cooked nicely, nice and crunchy. The mushrooms being, 99.9% water,
Yeah.
they do need quite a bit of seasoning. That lacks a little bit of seasoning, maybe a little bit less of the breadcrumb because you can see there's still a little bit dry.
Right.
But yeah, it's it's nice.
I think he did like it. He pulled me up on a few things, as expected, but nothing horrendous, so I was quite pleased. And he's very nice, so that makes me feel better.
It became too heavy, really. You know,
Yeah.
it's understanding the balance of...
Or just too many things that didn't really kind of blend together.
A plate of food, the way I see it, it's almost like it's a little cast in a performance, you know, and they've all got a role to play. Mushroom wasn't supposed to be there. Exit stage left.
Only 3 people can be taken through to the next round. For one of our home cooks, it's time to leave the competition.
Now I really do want to go through.
If I went out, I would be gutted now. I think this is the point where we're going to start learning a lot more from him.
I'd really like to go through.
I think there's absolutely no chance of me going through, to be honest. It'll just be me and my empty bottle of champagne going home.
Do you think you've seen enough to decide who is going to go home at this stage?
There's 2 people I'm definitely keeping, and out of the other 2, yeah.
OK, well, you've got from now until we walk back in there to make your decision.
Yeah.
So let's go and tell him the news.
OK.
Only 3 of you can go through to the next round, and Stephen has made his decision, so it's over to you.
You know, I'm here to select one of you as my champion to take into Friday's final. My decision is about your attitude, working under pressure, how ambitious I think you are, and how you'll stand up next to me in battle against the other chefs and their champions. So, you know, taking that into account, you know, I've made my decision, and the person who will be leaving us at this stage is, unfortunately, you, Kevin.
I mean, the other dishes, to be fair, were a lot more adventurous than mine, so, which I could see then. So maybe that. But it was good.
So that leaves 3 home cooks. They are George, a digital marketing manager, Nick, a video marketeer, and Diane, a primary school teacher.
This is round 2, the Chef's Challenge. Now, in this challenge, Stephen has devised a test to see which one of our home cooks have the skills he's looking for. So, Stephen, what are you making?
We're going to make a classic Béarnaise sauce, but it's essential that it's not split, and the consistency, well, you'll see this consistency, so it could coat an egg yolk and just sit on top of an egg yolk and not run off and not just sit like a blob on the top. That's important.
OK, well, let's get started then.
OK, so 250 grams of clarified butter. It needs to be fully melted. It doesn't need to be bubbling away. So we need to make the reduction. That's just vinegar, white wine vinegar. Also, I'm going to add a little bit of water into that reduction because that will reduce quite quickly. Because what we want to do now, we want to add a little bit of shallot into that reduction. So with the tarragon stalks, just sort of crush them, or maybe with the back of a knife, because you want to bruise them so they can get in the flavour out. And just sort of chop it so it goes into the pan. That goes in there. We've got a little mortar and pestle. We just want to crush those peppercorns. Just to...
What else can you put this sauce with?
Béarnaise. I mean, Béarnaise is a classic sort of, you know, for a steak, really, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
OK, so then we add the 4 egg yolks. Now, this is the important bit with adding the water. So you don't need a lot, a couple of sort of tablespoons, maybe just that. So you cook the egg yolks over simmering water in a bowl. This bowl fits nicely on there. It's important to keep it whisking, you know, all the time. Keep it moving. As you see now, you look at the bottom of the pan, see how that's starting to cook now? So I'm gonna add a little bit of water. So you don't need a lot. So you see how much thinner that is now? That gives me much more control. That's pretty much there, that is. OK. Then we add the clarified butter very gently. And as it thickens, it gets glossier and glossier because you're adding fat into it. And also, while it's warm and you're whisking, it's good to add the salt now as well. So I'm going to add some crushed salt. And we need to pass the reduction. There we are. All that in there. So just squeeze.
Really strong.
So then just... So we'll just pass it into here. Now we just need to run a knife through that tarragon. And that will slowly soften and sort of wilt and impart flavour into the sauce in a matter of seconds. Watch out for any seeds. Okay. So you see the consistency? You want a taste? Yeah, it's good.
There you go, guys. There's a spoon each.
Thank
Have
you.
a taste.
Thank you.
Don't be shy.
You can taste the lemon. It tastes creamy. And I've got a piece of tarragon as well. It's
Yeah.
really nice and creamy.
So, are we feeling confident?
Really nervous.
Well, it's time to get going.
We'll do our best.
Okay.
So our cooks have just 15 minutes to create the perfect Béarnaise sauce.
At least my hands aren't shaking like they were previously.
Stephen is looking for someone who can follow his instructions and demonstrate good time management. He'll also be watching closely to see how our cooks handle any mistakes.
Don't forget, guys, you've got to cook these egg yolks. They're not going to cook in thin air, so you might need to think about putting some water in your pans.
Okay.
The reduction's important, which I can see you're focusing on, but reduction's no good if you've got no eggs to put it into. You need to cook the eggs.
So after hints by Stephen, Diane is the only cook to take note.
Right. Oh, I've got eggy hands now.
Meanwhile, George is still chopping her herbs. With only 15 minutes, the cooks need to work fast to complete this dish on time and to Stephen's high standards. They must replicate Stephen's sauce from memory, which adds to the pressure.
I forgot to add the shallots. Damn it.
I can't remember if when he put salt and pepper in.
How are they getting on?
Good. I mean, they're obviously a little bit nervous. I think they just need to keep an eye on their reductions because I think it's out of sight, out of mind. You know, again, it all comes down to the finishing it. It's all about that consistency.
Yeah.
You know, not splitting it.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting, how they set themselves up for that. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been demonstrated, you know, not so long ago. And just the finishing and their seasoning and the consistency and taste. You know, we'll see.
Oh,
Yeah, I did a bit of water to slow it down. Not too much.
Stephen wants a smooth sauce with a consistency that would allow it to sit on top of an egg, which takes a lot of whisking.
I'm concerned that everybody else has added butter and I've not.
why am I first?
First to the finish line is Nick.
Done?
Right, you have just 2 minutes left.
It's not leaking like it's meant to.
Diane and George are racing to get the right consistency. And in the final minutes, the panic sets in for both of them.
Oh, that's dried out. Oh, no.
With the clock ticking down, the stress levels are causing mistakes.
Ooh, sorry.
10, 9, 8,
Wrong way.
7,
Wrong way.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it in the bowls.
Oh.
Stop cooking and step away. Well done, well done, well done, and well done.
Oh, did you put yours in a bowl?
Yeah, it's just a bit in a bowl, yeah.
That's a bowl.
It's time to taste. So, guys, how was that?
Awful.
Well, we all managed to get something in the bowl, so
Yeah, different
Good.
bowls, but there we are. It's a bowl.
it's a bowl. So I think, yeah, let's taste.
Reach over there
Okay.
first. If I had to choose one that was nearest to mine, it would be that one.
Done.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
And these two are quite similar. They're both quite heavy on the reduction, thin on the texture and the consistency, and they both lack salt as well. So I'm thinking back to your performances earlier, and I think the one I'm going to have to say no to and send home would be yours, Nick.
Oh.
Sorry, mate.
Those two are brilliant, and in fairness, they did so well this morning. Well done. I'm delighted I did that round. I wish them both the best of luck. They're both great cooks.
So that leaves 2 cooks. They are George, a digital marketing manager, and Diane, a primary school teacher. But only one could be Stephen's partner in the Friday final.
OK, so it's time for the third and final round, the chef's special. So in this round, our cooks will be given a set of ingredients to one of Stephen's signature dishes. Now, cooks, the aim of this challenge is to see what you can create from the same set of ingredients. You will get to see what Stephen makes a little bit later on. But for you at home, here's today's ingredients.
Stephen's chosen eggs, pasta flour, garlic, a red onion, lemon, butternut squash, rapeseed oil, goat's cheese, sage, cream, broad beans, a red chilli, spinach leaves, fresh peas and pancetta. Easy enough for a Michelin-starred chef, but what will our home cooks think?
Okay, you ready?
Yes, chef.
The clock is ticking and our cooks are off. This is the first time they've seen these ingredients, but will they know where to start?
That's sage. Should I use it?
So after a bit of tasting, George is the first to get stuck in.
What do you think? What do you think of the ingredients?
Well, at the minute, I'm thinking soft cheese will go with the cream and the... Don't smell that basil, is it? No, it's not. Not strong enough. But that will
Taste
go...
it.
Yeah, good point.
Yes, taste.
I can tell you a chef. And the garlic.
I dabble.
So I can make some sort of sauce, and I think I'm going to stuff this with that in
Yeah.
some sort
Okay.
of creamy, cheesy sauce.
Yeah.
OK, how are you feeling inside?
Bit scared.
Well, good luck.
Try. Go get the pans.
See you soon.
Done.
See you.
Hi, George.
Hello.
You've cracked on, so
Yes,
have you decided what you're going to make?
I'm going to make pasta.
Yeah?
Again. Sorry. Sauce with like goat's cheese sort of filled ravioli.
OK.
You should make a ravioli. I think that's what I was meant to do.
And then I'm going to do a bacon sort of sauce.
Should be all right. Well, good luck.
Yeah, best of luck.
Cheers.
Having decided on pasta, George isn't sure if she has the right ingredients.
I've got a feeling that this is plain flour, so it should be all right.
She's taken a gamble, but showing confidence, she sticks to her plan.
They've told us both what they're going to make. Are you impressed with their menus?
I think I don't think that Diane's made pasta before.
No.
So she didn't see that flour and egg thing sort of there. So that's fair enough. I just saw the goat's cheese and the cream is all mixed together, and it's sort of quite runny, you know, sort of thing. And
Is she going to make a sauce with that?
Yeah, but it's like she's done it in the wrong order, really. You'd heat your cream, put your goat's cheese into it, add the spinach.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I think it's just going to be a bit big and clumsy, to be honest with you.
OK.
We'll just put an egg in and hope for the best. No idea, but we'll put one in. Messing this right up.
Whereas I think she's doing a ravioli of goat's cheese, lemon and chilli.
She sounded like she felt a bit guilty for saying, I'm making pasta again. But, you know,
That was the right choice.
she knows how to do it, so why not?
Yeah, it is cooking. It's going softer anyway.
Diane's butternut squash seems to be on track, but George is having trouble getting her pasta to roll.
This is not my pasta day.
I'm running out of time. It's not cooked enough. It's still a bit raw. I think I'm going to get absolutely pulled up on that.
Stephen is looking for a partner who can stay calm under pressure, so how our cooks handled themselves in this challenge is vital.
Right, you have just 10 minutes to go. Only 10 minutes.
Right, I'm ready for dishing up now.
Diane's dish may be simple, but she's first to finish.
That's me done. I'm ready. Don't know what else I can do.
This is it. You only have 2 minutes left.
Better.
Racing to get her ravioli cooked in time. Has George bitten off more than she can chew?
Right, 10 seconds, ladies. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop cooking. Step away from your plates. Now it's time to taste.
First, it's George. She's made ravioli filled with pancetta, goat's cheese, peas, lemon and chilli with a butternut squash puree and crispy sage leaves.
All right.
Hi.
Hi.
How was that for you?
Stressful, like every round.
Right. Let's again. Let's just taste some puree first, I think. I think the raviolis are well made.
Okay.
I love the combination of the goat's cheese with the peas, the chilli, and the lemons. Very refreshing.
Yeah.
Squash puree, it's a nice texture.
Yeah.
Could have done with a bit more salt.
Okay.
But overall, very good dish. I mean, I'm enjoying this. It's good.
I'd done pasta before, and I'm comfortable with it. I just saw those things and just, yeah, I think they liked it.
Next into the tasting room is Diane. She's made roasted butternut squash filled with pancetta, cream, cheese, garlic, onion and sage, accompanied with broad beans and fresh peas.
Oh, again.
Hello. How did you find that?
Really, really, really hard. But anyway,
It looks appetising.
Well, let's taste.
Okay. It's tasty. I've tasted the bacon, the cheese is good. I mean, the squash is almost like it's a vehicle for the sauce, isn't it? Because I mean, squash, you know, in the interior, it's quite bland, so it needs all that flavour going on around it, and then you've achieved that. So you normally would serve those?
to be honest with you, it's not a veg that I cook that often.
I haven't seen those served before, if I'm honest. That is delicious. It's good. You know,
It's better than I thought.
No, seriously, Diana, that's tasty.
I'm pleased that he actually said it was nice and he liked it and the flavours worked well. So I've actually produced a dish that was acceptable and edible.
So with the final challenge complete, it's just left for Stephen to decide between our two home cooks.
The baked goat cheese was a bit like, almost like quiche sort of baked texture. But it cooked nicer than I thought it was going to cook, in all fairness. I thought it was going to be quite runny with that, but it actually cooked quite nice.
Yeah.
I like the filling in the ravioli, it's good. I like the bit of heat. Lemon, chilli, you know, maybe a tiny bit more garlic.
Really
It's
lovely.
an accomplished piece of cooking.
Good.
Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, they've done a sterling effort. You know, it's going to be a tough decision.
But before Stephen announces the winner, it's time to reveal what he makes with those ingredients.
Okay, ladies, before Stephen lets us know who he's going to take through to the Friday final, you're in for a real treat because he is now going to show you what he does with all those ingredients. So it's over to you, chef.
Okay, so think you worked out it's a pasta dish. But what we're going to make is a rotolo. So the first thing I'm going to do first is make my pasta. So it's a slightly smaller recipe than what I'm used to making, because we normally make a ½ kilo recipe in here. A little bit of flour down on that. Just work it together, bring all that together, using sort of like the back of your hand. It only needs about 15 minutes in the fridge to rest before you can roll it out.
Oh, that looks really nice.
Wrap it in cling film. That'll go in the fridge. So first of all, we're going to use this pancetta. Love pancetta. Start cooking this in a little bit of rapeseed oil. I'll just peel a bit of this off. So what we're going to do, okay, the sage, as you both know, takes a little while to cook. So we're going to get the sage in with the pancetta, and then quickly get the onion in, and then we're going to cook it under a cartouche, which is this piece of paper that's been cut out to go on the top like a little sort of mini lid.
What type of food excites you? You know, what sort of food do you like to eat if you're going out?
I mean, Italian food is probably my favourite, you know, to cook and to eat.
Okay.
But yeah, I just like, you know, good cooking, you know. If someone's taken the care and attention to work with the ingredients and show them the respect that they, you know, I believe they deserve, you know, it's normally a successful outing. So I'm going to put the sage in there. So that fits. You can, if you want to get something cooking a little bit more, this is one of your best friends you're going to find in the kitchen. Water. Because you hear that sort of like generates that steam and that heat. That's just cooking quicker now.
Yeah.
But that water will, in a minute, will have disappeared. But it's done a job for me. So, there we are. So what I want to do is just put a little bit of this spinach, just to wilt some of that spinach in there, which is going to take 30 seconds.
So you were awarded your first Michelin star when you were 25?
That's right, yeah, and it was many, many moons ago.
So you don't know that they're going to come in and inspect you?
No, you don't. Because if you knew, then, you know, you would just pull out all the stops from one table. So that then can go in there, and that needs to be refrigerated.
So how long does it take you to refine a dish like this, then?
It's about being inspired. I mean, you know, I can only speak for myself. I mean, my cooking's all about being inspired by what's around me, and the people, and my past. You know, people I've worked with. I was fortunate to work alongside Marco Pierre White at Harvey's, which was his first restaurant when he was a head chef. You know, he was a man, you know, absolutely possessed with just perfection.
Yeah.
So it was a real treat to have, you know, I've actually witnessed that and worked alongside him and with other, you know, young chefs as well. So this just needs to blanch for like, you know, sort of 30 seconds, really. When you put it in, just sort of wiggle it like that. So the pasta, when it's raw state, doesn't sort of touch each other. As long as the water's touched it, it's sealed the outside.
Okay.
And just bring them out and refresh them into some nice water. Just to stop them cooking. So they're going to dry on there. So we want to sort of create a sheet. So put that one there. And then we need to just grab the filling to be mixed with the goat's cheese. Spread that mixture. Spread it over. Again, just making sure as you turn it, so we can use the cling film, and just, you know, just to expel, you know, excess amount of air. It hasn't got to be super, super tight, squeezing everything out. So what I do, we'll just put that in the fridge for 2 minutes while I start to get the sauce ready. So we want to blanch those peas. So we're just going to put a little bit of that in there for the spinach. So that'll start to cook that down a little bit first. Add a little bit of cream into that now. Lemon, peas, raw beans. Nice sharp knife. Straight for the jugular in the middle.
This is where a really sharp knife is absolutely
paramount. No, as I say, leave the cling film on, because that's going to colour up quite quickly.
Oh, I would have fiddled around and taken that off.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of, safety net for holding it together.
Yeah.
So they need to sort of pop in the oven for a couple of minutes. It's always best just to snip it with a pair of scissors because otherwise it's going to sort of just fall apart on you unless you're super confident. And a little drizzle of olive oil.
Amazing.
Lovely.
There we are. And there we have our rotolo.
Here we go. Let's all have a taste.
Okay.
What do you think, ladies?
It's fantastic.
The veg is
It's
really,
beautiful.
really good.
Right, Stephen, so it's crunch time. You've now got to decide who you're going to take through to the Friday final. But before you do, let's have a quick recap of what our cooks made earlier.
In the first round, George impressed Stephen with her duck tortellini. She under-seasoned her Béarnaise sauce in the second, but produced a fresh and flavoursome ravioli in the final round.
Overall, very good dish. I mean, you know, I'm enjoying this. It's good.
I'd love to have the chance to cook with Stephen, and you can't even. That's an experience I will take with me forever.
Meanwhile, Diane's first dish lacked seasoning in round one. She aced her Béarnaise sauce in the second, but was her roasted butternut squash up to scratch in round three.
Yeah, it is cooking. It's going softer anyway. I think the only thing that could save me is either if the flavours that George has cooked don't go, so the taste isn't there, or possibly my Béarnaise sauce, because that was, out of the three, it was the best one. So that's what I'm pinning my hopes on.
OK, Stephen, so it's time to declare your winner. Who will you be taking through to the Friday final?
Okay. I've got to choose a person who I feel is going to be the strongest next to me in competition against the other professional chefs and their champions. And, you know, and bearing that in mind, I think, well, I know, the person I'm going to take through is George. So commiserations, Diane.
Well done.
It feels really surreal, but lovely, really nice.
I didn't think I'd get this far, so I've learnt things. I've seen a Michelin-starred chef cook a meal right in front of me, so I'm going to go away really happy.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.